Let me just do a quick intro. So, my name's Kiran Nambiar. I spent about 10 years in banking tech as an engineer before starting my own agency in Bangalore called First Main. We were then acquired by a company called Tiffin. And for the past sort of 3 years, been working with them. And early last year, started working on MyFi, which is essentially a entirely conversational platform to help people invest better. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But the topic at hand: can AI change wealth outcomes? Right? How many of you invest in any form, mutual funds, stocks? Okay, so at least half the room. I'm sure the other room is at least aspiring to invest. So, the past couple of years, and especially through COVID, the number of investors that have come online have grown exponentially, right? There are plus minus 100 million investors in the country. Quoted numbers are often higher, but let's discount a little bit. Um, but if you look at the landscape when it comes to advice in this space, people helping you with investments, that number still stands at around 80,000 in the entire country, right? Just breaking this down a little bit more, the most popular mechanism is basically getting a mutual fund distributor license, which technically is not an advisor. It's really to help sell mutual funds. But at the end of the day, they are people still interacting with investors all over the country. Of them, only 57% are actually active, right? What really constitutes an advisor is what SEBI calls an RIA, or registered investment advisor, and there are only about 960 in the country, right? Even if you add certified planners, etc., the numbers are quite small. So, uh, as you can see, the stats are quite staggering. 100 million investors, 80,000 people who can help you with this. Clearly, there's a problem at hand. Um, if you look at household incomes as well from 2021 and projected to kind of 2031, obviously that middle class is growing, as we all know. So there's more wealth coming into the country, um, more people investing, more money being invested, and still we don't have a way to really address this problem. Um, so what does AI have to do with all of this, right? It's estimated that in this coming financial year alone, AI in different forms in the economy is going to add up to 500 billion to India's GDP alone. Um, the problem we have in India and also globally really is the fact that financial literacy is very low. Only about 27% of Indians are considered financially literate. We're far below the global average as well. Wealth and investors, as I was saying, is growing. There was actually a Goldman Sachs study that said by 2027, there'll be about 100 million people in the country earning $10,000 or more. And financial assistance can't keep pace, right? Even if we try to get more human advisors, it's just not something that we could scale to the size of a country like India. So, so really, this is where AI comes in, right? I think the text is a little faded, but with AI, we're really able to allow you to have a very personalized conversational experience uh, using an app, right? Or using WhatsApp or whatever that medium might be. Um, we're able to kind of analyze the data that you have. India's digital public infrastructure is great. So, with things like Account Aggregator, MF Central, various other platforms out there, really able to kind of gather information about the user with their consent in a central place, which means you can see, in an ideal world, you can see their entire financial history from investments, credit, bank accounts, whatever that is, right? And make a sort of informed decision and advice on what they could do with that. Even sort of financial advisors today often don't take such a holistic view when it comes to investing. So, I mean, these are actually some screenshots from our app, right? So, whether it's you want to start an SIP and you say, hey, I want to start with 10,000 rupees a month, my risk appetite is medium. How do I do it? Right. Or you ask us to analyze your credit report. We can actually tell you, hey, you know what? You have some high interest loans, personal loans, and you have these investments. Why don't you take a loan against or take a credit line against your mutual funds instead? We look at your portfolio and give like a quick portfolio score as well as a report card, which is able to kind of analyze the data in more detail and again give you recommendations. So really the opportunity is quite amazing, right? And I don't think it's for one person or one app to solve. It really is connecting from the previous talk, right, about multi agents and agentic AI. You can really pull together multiple sort of layers here, allowing the user to get intelligence, personalized insights, as well as actionability, right? So that's looking at your portfolio, giving you some analysis, as well as allowing the user to execute on that. Because at scale, having a manual sort of process to do this is not something that is going to work. It also does not allow the kind of personalization that an app based platform would allow for. So, often the answer is let's just use ChatGPT, right? I was chatting with somebody outside before this, and you can actually ask ChatGPT most of the questions you can ask MyFi as well. But really, what's happened over the past couple of years is there've been some amazing foundational models that have come out, but when it comes to specialized use cases with finance, healthcare, whatever it might be, it is on sort of individual companies and apps to kind of build a vertical that's specialized in that area, right? So if you go to ChatGPT and say, what should I invest in? It will give you an answer. But it is an LLM coming up with answers based on data that may not be current either. So it's a great starting point, but it's probably not the right way to approach this, right? So things like hallucinations and ensuring that data is accurate. So you need to take a bit of a hybrid approach. Again, going back to the earlier talk where can you just rely on the code to be 100% accurate? No, but if you take a hybrid approach where you're using LLMs for that conversational experience, understanding the user, but then you use more traditional means of answering questions using uh, um, um, traditional financial models, which are built by investments experts, there's actually an opportunity to marry the two together and get to an accurate answer. Um, Also, scale. We last year, we launched a sort of referral program on the app, and there was a period of around 3-4 days where we had way more users than we expected. So there were like 8 to 15,000 users being added every day over 3 days. Um, the OpenAI bill for 3 days was around $1,000, which clearly is not scalable when it comes to consumer products, right? So I think it's important to think beyond just using an extremely large LLM to kind of solve all your problems and having API based models there, and really kind of fine tuning and customizing it uh, to your needs. Um, so you touched on this, and really the idea with sort of agentic platforms is, can you anticipate what the user wants? Can you kind of give them more than, say if you say, "Hi, how are you?" Just responding to that, right? If you say, "Can I invest in what are the best tech funds to invest in?" really going beyond just showing tech funds, giving them more insights into what their existing portfolio looks like, and then some actionability from there as well. Also, kind of monitoring what's happening to your portfolio in real time is something that can really add value to the user, right? Um, and this is kind of a representational diagram more than anything else, but really with agentic systems, there's no end to how you could integrate with multiple platforms out there, right? Whether it's news, market data, credit scoring, execution platforms. Really, it's endless, and it's a complex problem to solve. But I do think that multiple people need to try and solve this. Yeah. So, really the question is not whether AI will change wealth management, because it is being applied today in multiple sort of use cases, whether it's consumer applications, B2B applications, and, especially in a country like India, where scale is a problem and a challenge, rather, it becomes more and more important. So, on the knowledge part, one thing to add is also, we're not trying to be an education only platform. We're trying to educate the user as they go through a journey of asking about funds and things like that. So, it's very bite sized, which hopefully makes it easier. The information has to be vetted. Most of the data we use for the knowledge part is actually from Amphi, SEBI's website, and things like that. We don't kind of make up answers. Um, so, we are experimenting with things which aren't live yet, but we do hope to kind of use more user data and what they are doing to kind of assess their true risk appetite versus kind of making any assumptions from what they say. Um, I'm going to do a very short, like 30-second demo, because I feel like there are a lot of questions. So here you can come in and say something like, "Find me tech funds," right? So it's dev, so bear with me. So as you can see, the language, the typing is pretty sort of not. Oh, fine. Okay. So two things. One is we have starter questions here where if you're not sure what to ask, you can kind of go from there. But also when you go into um, uh, specific questions like finding tax saver funds. Here, we're kind of giving you a quick glance and a quick sort of summary of what we have here. And, we have follow up questions on what you could ask, compare them based on risk, compare them overall. You could, so if you say compare, we actually just give you a quick answer on what we think this would be the best fund, and we rank them based on uh, expense ratio, risk, returns, etc. Um, you can also say, I want to invest. Um, so here again, sort of allowing you to kind of start in a very simple manner, get into sort of what you want to do. Um, sorry, an SIP, um, adjust your risk level, and then kind of very quickly get into kind of uh, recommendations from there as well. Unfortunately, we don't have execution yet, but the idea is that we'll get there as well. So interesting you say that. We are also having B2B conversations where we are looking to power some AMC, so mutual fund houses. We are talking to some banks to see if we can plug into their app and be that conversational assistant there. So that's definitely something we will do. Cool. Thank you.